Hi, I'm Karen Ruch.
And I'm Stuart Landon. And we're here having a conversation with our friends about their brilliant things. Now, what are brilliant things, Karen?
Brilliant things can be any of those little things in life that bring you joy, everything brilliant about the world.
Everything worth living for. Well, not everything, but like some things
Some
off
of the
that
things.
list. Yeah. That list is very long. Actually, in the play, it's very long.
Yes, it's a million things long.
I can't wait to bring our friends here to have a conversation about their brilliant things. And if you would like to see every brilliant thing playing at Open Stage, you can go to openstagehbg.com to get your tickets today. It's going to be a beautiful show. At least I hope so. I'm the only one in it, so pressure. Enjoy this conversation that we're about to have with our fantastic, brilliant friend. Sit back and relax and enjoy this brilliant conversation. Next up is Sara Bozich, Sara, a good friend of the theater, a writer, a blogger, an influencer here in Harrisburg, and she always knows what's going on, and she is the best resource at sarabozich.com. You can find out so many good things.
She's made a career out of finding every brilliant thing about Harrisburg.
It's so true! It's so true, and she's, a lovely human and has a lovely family, and I'm looking forward to finding out what her personal brilliant things are. It's going to be great.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Sara, for being here today.
Yes, thank you so much.
Yes, thank you guys for thinking of me.
Well, glad to have you. So and Sara, I don't think I told you this, but immediately replied. And she did her homework immediately. She was like, these are all the things. And I was like, okay. Which is par for the course with Sara.
But that's also wonderful that those things, which we'll get into, are so forefront in your mind. I know what my things are. That's wonderful.
Yeah. So in the play that we're doing, Karen's directing me in, it's called Every Brilliant Thing. And the character I play goes through some tough stuff and ends up creating a list that kind of lifts him up out of that tough stuff. And throughout his life, he returns to that list. And there's a few, I'll say, rules of the game that he ends up creating for himself. The first one that he discovers pretty early on is that the list is actually in no particular order, because anything brilliant is just brilliant and wonderful and gives you joy and makes life worth living, regardless of how small or large it is.
Right, and it doesn't have to be ranked. We don't have to say this is better than this.
Right.
They're all great.
Yes.
Yeah. And also he tries not to put too many material items on the list. That's a big one. Mm-hmm. And
he tries not to repeat things.
Right.
So he's making a very long list, and he doesn't want to repeat things.
Right. Yeah. So we were wondering what some of your brilliant things might be. If you might want to share some of those with us today.
Of course.
Okay.
So I had to hold when you first asked me to do this, I like you said, I was able to come up with them pretty quickly. I think if anything, the past year, almost 2 years now, has a way to remember to stay focused and grounded and appreciate what we do have is to focus on those small, brilliant things. But I had to hold myself back from food items because I think it just all could have been food items. I could probably build a lifelong list of food items. Mm-hmm. For instance, this year I grew shishito peppers in my garden, and all you do is throw them in a cast iron pan, and then afterwards flaky sea salt, and it should be on the brilliance.
Delicious. They are delicious.
They're so good. Another really important garden food thing for me is that first ripe tomato from your home garden. And maybe a brilliant thing is just flaky sea salt, because now that I'm thinking of these food things, it's just the ones where you put a little bit of salt on it and it really does the trick. We recently got a puppy, and the giggle that comes from my son's mouth when the two of them are together is just one of the most amazing things I've ever heard. So for sure, one of my brilliant things, Beau has a great laugh all the time, but he gets this giggle with this puppy that is just amazing. Another one of the things I thought of for the brilliance list is I'm a big fan of the ocean, and I think just being on it alone for me is probably a brilliant thing. Feeling that salt water on your face, that salt air, but I also love to just be able to take a walk down the beach or read a book by the beach.
Well chosen.
Thank you.
Also, salt is involved with
I
it.
know.
Yes,
That's definitely
yes, lots
the theme
of
for me.
salty
Yes, a
things.
lot of salt.
High sodium brilliance.
I love it.
So not salt. I think this was on my list too, but wine. I thought about like putting that one in an interaction. It doesn't matter. Just wine, period, existing.
Yeah, I mean, yes.
It's a wonderful thing to enjoy with other people. It's something that I enjoy plenty on my own. Doing wine tastings is fun. Discovering new wines is fun. So like it doesn't have to even be like a pretentious thing or a high-end wine. Like I think it's just one of those things that is wonderful that we get to experience regularly. So I think I also enjoy gardening in general, but I have a lot of houseplants and I've killed plenty. That's not so brilliant or fun, but new growth on houseplants I feel like is one of the, you're like, wow, I accomplished something. Yeah, I didn't really do anything, but it just still feels like, I don't know, it's exciting and it's fun, and I think being able to propagate some plants that you can do that easily and share them with other people, I really enjoy that. My son and I take walks through the neighborhood a lot, and one of my neighbors grows peaches and figs in her front yard. Yes, they're prolific.
The best neighbor.
I know. She's the sweetest woman. And we passed her in the morning one day, and I was telling her, "Oh, Bo's been admiring your peaches," and we have to stop there and, inevitably picks one off the tree. She drops them off at our house with a little note to Bo about how they were starting to ripen and to have me put them on the counter till they were ready for a day or two. And to me, that is, that sort of thing, that neighborly camaraderie, that, goodness in other people is one of those brilliant things too.
And sharing abundance, that's so beautiful.
Yeah.
I love that.
I love that.
The other thing I had on my list, I said this kitchen swagger playlist, which I did not create. It's from Spotify. I'm not good at making playlists, but man, do I appreciate someone else's hard work.
Right.
And it's just one of those feel good, drink some wine while you're cooking, sort of things. I used to listen to records a lot when I would cook, but having a child can get complicated that, and so those are in a different room now. Although now it'll probably be fine, but at any rate, so being able to do that is for sure one of those really feel good things. And yet another food related thing for me, I did discover, I think, over the last 2 years, that one of the things that makes me the absolute happiest is when I cook food for my family and they love it. It is just so special to have made something and they rave about it. Both an almost 40-year-old and a almost 4-year-old can, love food like that. And that to me has really brought me a lot of joy.
Sarah, you've kind of made a career out of identifying brilliant things, whether it's events or places to go or things to do and all of that kind of stuff. I wonder, how has that sort of also opened your eyes to what great things are around, or do you think that has influenced the folks who use those lists? Do you think that's helped them find brilliant things in their own lives?
Well, to the latter, I certainly hope so. And I do get comments to that effect. And so I like to think that people have taken those experiences and made them their own brilliant things when they have the opportunity to. But absolutely, the job alone has opened my eyes to so much more that we have locally and so many different types of things. And in fact, I don't remember why or how, but very recently in the last few days, I was talking about, my experience with food growing up. And what I liked it, and my parents aren't good cooks, but we only had the things we had. We didn't have a lot of exposure to other ethnicities, foods and cultures and that sort of thing. It was what they were raised with, and but being able to, when I started the column that I used to have, and I was out going to all these places, I was too embarrassed to ever make a change to a menu order or something. I would try to observe those around me and how they were choosing to order or eat, take recommendations, of course, from chefs, and when you have the opportunity, or just embraced every opportunity that I would have to try new things and do new things. I guess that's how I got to discover so many more brilliant things.
Well, thank you so much for being here today. Thank you for being the person that indicates to us via all of your wonderful writing about what brilliant things we should participate in our community.
I'm going to change the whole column now. It's not going to be weekend roundup. It's going to be brilliant things.
I mean, it's pretty good. I mean, this show
It's pretty great.
the show originated in the UK, which is why that word is chosen. But like, it's definitely a word that I want to use more in my life now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When I first went to Ireland, and it's a very common
Yep.
use, like everything's brilliant, brilliant.
Brilliant.
It's like how we
I
say
was like,
cool or something.
I
right?
was like, oh, I love that. And
Yeah.
I've just incorporated it in my.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have.
I
That's
use
true.
it all
You
the
say it
time.
all the time. It's why you're hired as the director. That was it.
Well, I can't wait to see the show. When does it open?
It opens September 3rd, first weekend of September.
Yes.
And plays the whole month. And I'm looking forward to having your reactions afterwards. We can share a glass of wine
Yes.
and discuss what you think, because it's definitely a show that I fell in love with it when I read it. But it was, and I said, I have to do this play, and Karen has to direct me. Thankfully, she said yes. And we've got a great stage management team and a great design team. So it's going to be awesome. It's going to be brilliant. But I can't wait to see people's reactions afterwards.
Yes. Yeah. I think it'll give everyone a lot to think about in their own lives.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for being here today.
Yes,
for
thank you, Sarah.
chatting in the dressing room.
Thank you.